Hi, hello, did you guess what this video is about? As a homosexual, it is my legal obligation actually to tell my coming out story.
You have the right to remain
gay.
I want to see as many brown, desi, queer coming out stories as I can. I identify as a lesbian. My pronouns are she and her, and I've come out to my friends and my family, my parents, and now I'm coming out to strangers on the internet because that's so much fun, such great decision making. So this is a pretty long story. It started when I was 3 because you're born gay. I know we'd all like to think that coming out is one moment or one instant, but when we live in a heteronormative society, coming out is something that you end up having to do a lot, and it's ongoing. And the effects of living as a closeted person and thinking that a huge part of your identity is wrong in some ways has a huge, snowball effect throughout your life, on your personality, on the way you perceive the world. So a lot of my identity as a lesbian and my sexuality is very tied up with my gendered identity. Hey, that's fun, 2 for 1, yay.
2 in 1.
So I was 3 and I asked my mother for a haircut. I had very long curly hair and I told her I wanted to look like my brothers, I want a haircut. She's like, shit, why did I have a third child? This is not going to end well.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
So she said yes, because my parents are nice people and because I think I was so young that they didn't think it would be a big deal. Like, just a kid, let her do what she wants. So I got my hair cut and I got a boy cut because, we either call it pixie cut or we call it boy cut or mushroom cut or bowl cut, I don't know why it's called a boy cut, but I got a boy cut. I loved wearing pants and shorts and blacks and reds, and shopping in the girls section was a little bit traumatic for me. I did not enjoy the selection very much. Did not. I dressed up like a boy. I looked a lot like a boy because of my boy cut. So that was a bit of an issue when I started school, because thankfully my parents were very sweet about the way that I wanted to express myself and the way that I wanted to look. But my school unfortunately did not have that kind of an attitude, because schools have uniforms and schools have a certain way that they want children to look like, and I did not really fit that way very well. So I had to wear girls' uniform, and girls' uniform involved wearing a pinafore. Now the word pinafore makes me want to commit homicide and arson and all sorts of crimes, because I hated it so much. So I had to wear a skirt and I had to wear poofy sleeves, and I had to wear those little buckle shoes. I hated it. I hated going to school because I had to wear those kinds of clothes. I hated that I had to dress up in a way that I didn't want to, and I was forced to put these things on myself that made me feel so uncomfortable. Now I know some of you are thinking, they're just kids, it's just clothes, does it even really matter so much? It does matter. I'm happy that you think it doesn't matter, because that maybe means that you've never gone through something similar, being forced into wearing something that you don't want to. It's a very uncomfortable experience, and it leaves you feeling very awkward in social situations and in the situation in general. Yes, I was uncomfortable for what I would say the entire 12 years of my schooling. So you know how our school system really loves dividing kids based on gender. So girls in one line, boys in one line. So I looked like a boy. Like a lot of teachers would sometimes mistake me for a boy and be like, boy in the back, and I'd be like, hey, I am a lady. I would be standing in the girls line and all the girls would be like, hey, go to the boys line. And then all the boys would be like, you go to the girls line, stand in the middle, all sorts of really dumb jokes like that. Yeah, so I didn't really end up getting along with anyone because, I didn't really share a lot of the same interests and likes that girls my age did. I did share a lot of the interests and likes that boys my age did, I guess. And that would have worked, but all the boys were always like, but you're a girl. You were sort of a social pariah if you talk to the opposite gender at that age group back when I went to school. I can say back when I went to school because it was a long time ago now, because I am old apparently. Even in a co-ed school, it was so gendered, Some teachers would be like, boys and girls sit next to each other so that you don't talk as much in class. And then some teachers would be like, girls sit together, boys sit together because, you should not sit. Why did you put us in a co-ed school if you're going to make gender such a big deal? I grew up on the internet. So, like, my 11th birthday gift was being able to create a Facebook account. So getting on the internet exposed me to a lot of things that an 11-year-old probably should not have been exposed to, but it's too late now. So I remember I would play a lot of games like Yovil and stuff. I don't know if you guys remember that. But I'd always pick a male avatar and I'd go and get myself a girlfriend, because the entire point of that game was to get like a GF or a BF, and I definitely wanted GF. So the signs were there all along. So I knew that two women could be together. I knew that in some ways. I think the first time that I really heard the word lesbian in real life was when this girl in my class was just talking to all of us in the back of the classroom, and she said, have you heard that Miley Cyrus is a lesbian? And the word lesbian was said like with this level of disgust that made me very worried. So starting high school was when things really came to a head. So I never really had a lot of friends before high school, and I managed to make some friends in high school. So there was this one girl who I became friends with, and we got really close and we would talk a lot, and everybody knows where this is going. There's basically three options that you have if you want to realize that you're queer. One of them is you fall for a senior, and you're just like, oh my god, that senior is so cool. Do I want to be her? Do I want to be like her? Or option number two, you watch a TV show with a middle-aged actress who has so much sapphic energy that you just fall in love with her and realize that, hey, maybe I'm attracted to women. Or option number three, which is the option that I chose, was I got a crush on my best friend. It was very intense because it was a lot of things rolled into one. It was the first crush that I'd ever had, and granted that I did have a crush on a boy before that, but that was because he had very long eyelashes and this beautiful geometry set. So that's the main reason why. And this girl was also the first time that I'd had such a close friend. And I went and fell for her also. Like, way to go, Pratna. Like, amazing life decision making skills. 13-year-old Pratna, way to go. This was also the experience that made me realize something so huge about myself. I realized that I was attracted to women because of this girl, because of the feelings I had towards her. So yes, it was a very intense experience. So thus began the longest and most important relationship of my life, me and the Google search bar. So, I would come back home from school and I would ask Google search bar all of these fun questions, and Google search bar always had an answer for me. Sometimes the answers were very creepy, but they were answers nonetheless. And I think the most important thing to come out of my forays on the internet was finding lesbian content. I found a lot of queer women on the internet who were putting their stories out there, YouTubers like Bria and Chrissy, Rose and Rosie, and Now This Is Living, Shannon and Cami. Watching them live their lives and be with their girlfriends and have careers and talk about it so openly and crack jokes about it, it made it feel normal for me. Like, it made this huge part of my identity that I thought was really weird feel normal for me. Because initially I did think it was really weird, liking a girl. When I was coming out to myself, that was something that I had to come to terms with. But that's what normalization does, because I saw so much content, because I saw so many people like that, it made a huge impact on how I perceived it. This was around the same time that America was going through the whole movement to legalize same-sex marriage. So there would be like a lot of campaigns about that. There would be a lot of short movies about acceptance and love and let them get married, what's going to happen. And it had like a huge impact on me to be watching all of that and knowing that, I don't just have to accept it and it's not just okay. It's something I should be proud of. Like, there is nothing wrong with who I am as a person. So that's why queer content has such a special place in my heart, reading stories, watching stories on the internet, these things that strangers just decided to put out there, not knowing how it would impact the world, has impacted the world in such a huge way. It's impacted me in such a huge way. This kind of exposure has made me come to the point where now I kind of forget that most people are heterosexual.
Oh yeah.
When I think of the word wife, I literally just think of two women living happily together, and I genuinely do forget that men can marry women sometimes. So one of the things that these Google searches ended up leading me to was a Wikipedia page that told me that homosexuality was decriminalized by the Delhi High Court, but then recriminalized later on. And that's when I realized that I was a criminal for wanting a girlfriend. I was already a criminal before that, I illegally downloaded music and movies. Shh, don't tell anyone. The fact that I was a criminal for a part of my own identity was very jarring to come to terms with. It was scary and very isolating, and I would be sitting in my room and searching these things and watching these things and learning these things, and I didn't talk about it to anyone. I didn't talk about it with my family. I made sure to keep it a secret. I did not talk about it with my friends. I made sure to keep it a secret. This entire journey that I was going through, and I don't want to call it a journey, that's really lame, but this entire experience that I was going through, I went through it alone, in my room, in this room. I was scared. I was scared of what my parents would think. I was really scared that they were not going to accept me, that they're not going to love me anymore. I was very scared that they would want to kick me out of the house. I was very scared that they would want to not financially support me any longer while I still needed financial support. I was very scared that I would have to move to another country to be able to live a life, to be able to live any kind of life actually. And I was scared that I might have to end up marrying a man and not be myself. I was thinking all of these things as a 14, 15-year-old girl. That's an age when, you're having good thoughts about the future, I think. I don't know, you're thinking like, about your career, like I'm going to become, an engineer, okay, no one says that they're going to become an engineer with that much joy, my bad. Yeah, this is the point when kids were focusing on their future and doing all of that, and I was just worried whether I would even have a future. And they'd have like career days and career planning, and I'd be like, what kind of career will I have? Will I have one in this country, or will I be forced to have one in another country? Will my parents be even a part of my life when I'm living this future that I'm supposed to think about in 10th standard? Or will I be alone in that future? Will I have a family? Will I have friends? These are the thoughts that were running through my head. So these fears gave rise to something that I never tried to really do before. I tried to fit in. I had friends who were all, pretty normal people, and I decided, I should be more like them. So I started shopping in the girls section. I grew my hair pretty long, used to be until my chest at one point. I think the most girly thing that I thought I used to do was wear baby lips lip balm before school every day. I thought wearing lip balm was like the epitome of femininity.
Oh yeah.
I really did give heterosexuality a fair shot, I'll be honest with you. I dated a boy, He asked me out very publicly and I said yes, and the entire school congratulated me on getting a boyfriend. This was the age where having a boyfriend made you very cool. And I was very happy that, I was doing something that was perceived as cool, because I never really had those experiences. And I finally had some gossip to add on to all the things that my friends would talk about. when they talked about their boy crushes and their boyfriends and who they were dating. I also had one thing to tell them now, like, hey, yeah, I'm dating him. That was literally the only real substance that I got from that. I basically got some gossip to tell my girl crush about. A lot of people are like, you can change, it's just a phase. There's that whole idea that you can change being gay. But trust me, no one has tried to change being gay more than a gay person themselves. They've tried all they can, really, to not be who they are. But it's not possible. And that crush I had on that girl, that's what pushed me to come out. A lot of the times you can get confused between feelings that you have for your best friend, the affection you have towards a best friend, and having a romantic crush on someone. I think what really pushed me over the edge and made me sure was I used to be excited every single day to get up and go to school. For a kid that hated going to school, that was a big deal. It was a big deal that I was so excited to go to school just so I could talk to her and be with her and spend time with her. And God, I'm still friends with her. I hope she doesn't watch this video till this part. I don't want her to have so much hover. Yeah, she got a boyfriend, and I was really upset, really angry, really jealous. I still remember her calling me up and saying, "Hey Pratna, guess who just asked me out?" I used to cry in my room because I was that upset about it. How unfair is that? How unfair is it that I like someone who will never ever like me back? Like that was like the biggest injustice that I felt had ever happened to me in my entire life, I was good at hiding my feelings for her when it was just my affection, but my anger and my jealousy and my envy towards her boyfriend made it all spill out. And I remember she texted me and she was like, why are you so upset these days? Like, why are you so upset about this? And I was like, you know why.
Gay.
That led me to finally come out to my friends, led me to come out to her. I think we were all just playing, we used to play like Never Have I Ever games and Truth or Dare back in school. And I remember one of those truth questions, I was just looking around at everyone saying, just ask me that question. Please, can someone just ask me this truth question? Ask me if I like a girl, ask me if I like that girl, ask me. And finally I just ended up telling my friends. I used to walk around school every single day like I had this heavy secret weighing down upon me that made me an alien amongst all of these other people. And when I finally admitted that to them and I finally told them that, yeah, I like girls, they were like, okay. I was like, what? I have walked around with this secret as though it is the weight of the world upon my shoulders, and you guys are like, yeah, okay, cool, that's really nice, we kind of figured. So anticlimactic their reactions were, which in retrospect was probably the best thing that they could have done. They were very sweet about it, very accepting. Even the best friend, who could have easily been very freaked out that I had a crush on her, wasn't. She made me feel fine about it, like it's fine, it's not a big deal. And once again, I think I owe that, normal reaction that I got from my friends to queer media and representation, because we all used to watch a show called Pretty Little Liars, and one of the protagonists of that show was called Emily, and she was a lesbian who had a whole coming out story on the show, and all of her friends were like, yeah, okay, it's fine. That's super cool. Who's your girlfriend? It was sweet. It was good. It was a positive reaction, and we saw ourselves in that show because we were a group of girls in high school. That was a group of girls in high school. Granted, their high school experience was way more fun than ours, but still. And I guess my friends knew to just be normal about it, to be accepting about it, to be kind about it, because that's what they had seen. So I cannot tell you how important it is to have positive stories out there, because I really think it makes a huge difference. So yeah. So I came out to my friends. So next agenda on the list was coming out to my siblings. Hi, thank you for making it through 20 minutes of my face talking. So nice of you. Anyway, my camera actually got cut off in between recording this, so I'm going to be making a part 2 with me talking about my relationships and coming out to my parents, which is the biggie, and all of those juicy deets. So stay tuned. Thank you. Have a nice life. Like, share, subscribe, all of those things. I don't know. Okay, bye. I love you.